The day after the picnic, there was exciting news ready to be delivered to the students of Harrington Academy.
If I may have all of your attention, please. The Symphonias, beloved as they are, will be held again this year. For what reason am I telling you this? Why, because the Academy has been chosen to host the event.
My fellow schoolmates erupted into cries of joy. Oh, the Sinfonias! Here! What a wonderful surprise! For them, at any rate. I was perplexed. Is it worth all the excitement?
I've not heard of it, Emily. It's when all of London's most celebrated singers and musicians gather. The Academy likes to send its most promising musicians to take part as well.
Well, that does sound like great fun.
This year will be no different. Mr. Holmes and Watson are to be Harrington Academy's representatives. Taking part is quite an honor, I promise you. And as your teacher, I could not be more proud.
Hudson did tell me they were both practiced musicians. I know Holmes was a violinist, but Watson being a pianist was new to me. A pity that I have not had the opportunity to hear either of them play.
What a distinguished honor! All the best to both of you.
The room showed no signs of quieting its enthusiasm. The chatter continued to escalate more by the minute.
More of this, and I might blush.
Why must there be commotion over every reduced trifle?
Oh, but I could see he rather liked the attention.
I'm looking forward to seeing how well both of you play.
Absolutely! And we haven't gone to proper concerts since we arrived, so that's 2 birds, 1 stone for us!
Ideas stirred through giggles, which could not be repressed. This orchestral performance would be a special thing. Something new, something different to our routine. Something to renew...
That brings us...
Something new to renew our pride in the Academy.
That brings us to the end of registration. I wish you all a good day.
Practice hard.
We've been doing a bit of practice, of course.
I might need more than a bit. More a lot.
My dear friend, confidence better suits your complexion.
Everyone's mind was set on one thing, and nothing could have changed it, for the mood was burstingly jolly. Even I was smiling from ear to ear. A small parcel arrived at the mansion that same day.
Pardon me, my lady, but I've something to give you.
Alicia was the one to receive this parcel, which was about the size of a hat as it looked cradled between her hands. Really? Who sent it?
The family mansion in the Cotswolds. Do you remember Macy? She was your wet nurse.
Oh, that name does bring back some fond memories. I wonder if it's something seasonal then. Please, open it, Pendleton.
Of course.
Just a moment.
Pendleton used scissors to cut through the string fastened over the wooden box. The contents did nothing to assist us in learning why it was sent.
What is this?
The butler observed closely with wary confusion.
Is this a pocket watch?
So it appears, but it's also part of this little box. What a queer device. The pocket watch was joined to a silver case in such a way that it was impossible to detach. And why? For what reason was this sent to me? And what's this? I went to skim the accompanying letter for some clues.
Wait, my lady. I know the scent.
Before he finished his sentence, Pendleton seized the box straight out of my hands. Ah!
You must get down!
He thrust it out into the garden. What followed was a white flash. Then, the cry of an explosion. Eek! I did as Pendleton said and crouched, only narrowly missing the bulk of fragments darting through the air. A heated, temporary pain struck one of my hands, but I noticed something else. I waited. No other injuries were felt. I stood to see if the same could be said for Pendleton, who dived to protect me. No, Pendleton! Your arm! You've hurt your arm!
This is but a small thing. The flower beds in the garden have seen more damage, but flowers can be replaced.
Small, you call it? Alicia, please tend to his arm.
Right away.
Alicia rushed out and back into the room with a first aid box in hand.
The bomb was connected to the pocket watch. It must have been set to go off after a specific time. This was a grave oversight on my part. I'm terribly sorry, my lady.
You being in good health matters more to me. What an underhanded trick this is. Who could have been behind this harassment? Until we know why this has happened, we should exercise careful inspections for every letter and parcel that arrives at the mansion.
As you wish.
Alicia, was the parcel delivered by somebody you recognized?
No, I cannot say he looked at all familiar. We do have a regular postman, but there are times when others come to this place if they are overwhelmed with work. His hat was worn low on his head, making it difficult to see his face. I thought nothing of it at the time.
You must take care when accepting deliveries in the future. Confirm the sender's name before bringing anything inside.
Understood.
I trust your judgment to refuse to accept anything you find suspect. A missed parcel is not such a bad thing if it means the lives of everyone who lives in this mansion can be spared.
Of course. I'm so sorry this happened, my lady.
What's done is done. In the event that you refuse something, would you inform me as soon as possible?
I will. Wait here whilst I ring the police so they have a record of the incident.
You'll do no such thing till your injury has been cleaned.
I shall... I shall be tended to after the call. I cannot rest easy till then. And please, permit me to later look into who could be responsible for the bomb and its delivery.
You may, on the condition you always place your safety first and foremost. Alicia finished tending to Pendleton, whose injuries were quite plainly more pressing between the two of us, before cleaning my own minor cuts. I was left with a dizzying recollection of the day's events. Not because I was quick to forget, but because of an unbelief that a day for so much laughter could turn into a day of woe. My anxiety was steady into the next day.
For the time being, I'll be personally escorting you to and from the academy. Still, I cannot be with you at all hours. Should anything of concern happen, I want you to contact the yard immediately.
Very well. I pray we can put all these precautions behind us soon. I'm still unsure if going to school is the best decision. I won't be the only one in danger if something happens. I don't want to think about it, but what if someone innocent were injured because of me? I love going to school. I feel as though I belong. I just hope that attending, despite knowing the danger, isn't a selfish act on my part. I went on my way to the classroom with a somber air and a pout. Keep away, I'm sure it's said to anyone who happened to pass me by.
Pleasant morning to you, Emily. Or it's not so pleasant for you. Why do you look so sad?
This isn't like you. Did something happen?
Good morning. I stopped. Well, what to say? Could I hide my worries from them? Nothing happened. I'm simply deep in thought. Holmes sighed.
I'm sure. I'll let you have your secrets for now. Though, I'd like to know one thing. How did you injure your hand?
Look at those cuts. It seems something burnt you, too.
Such was the start I'd been given from the question that hiding my hands behind my back was more mindless than a conscious act. It happened at home, but I can assure you, it was just me being distracted in the kitchen.
At home? In the kitchen? You expect me to believe a lady of the nobility would be anywhere near a stove and cooking? Your behavior is notably different to how you were yesterday. One doesn't leave the classroom in high spirits and return so deceptively low, unless there is a good reason. These cuts arguably from fragments of a foreign object. If I were to guess based on length and width, a red swelling from a burn may have something to do with it. My conclusion may or may not be preposterous, but the conclusion I come to base on the facts is: did the explosive device go off at your mansion?
How did... The detective had done his work. It was accurate. Too accurate. And it pierced me with how on the mark it was. As they realized what I'd been trying to hide, their faces turned pale.
What? That's really it?
How's the truth, Miss Whiteley?
I hesitated. If I told them the truth, would that change my situation? Was the bomb a warning for what was to come if I looked further into my parents' murders? Was it something else entirely? The answer, as it was, did not matter. The possibility that more harm would come to anyone who knew was most present. Telling the boys could make the situation worse, and keeping them ignorant would change nothing.
There are parts you wish to keep to yourself, that is fine. I prefer to know the story straight. I won't force you to speak of sensitive matters.
If I mention the bomb and not my speculations on why it was sent, it might work out something I haven't. I hesitated, and then I relented. I'll tell you what happened, but I want you to keep what I say a secret from the rest of the class. Will you?
Certainly.
Won't tell us all.
Last night, a small bomb was delivered to the mansion from within an ordinary parcel. A very peculiar one at that. It was silver and spherical, and it was attached to a pocket watch of similar color and shape.
So you saw the bomb before the explosion?
Yes, I did. I was told the parcel came from my childhood mansion in the countryside. Nothing happened when we first opened it. It was Pendleton who grew anxious very suddenly, taking it and tossing it into the garden where the bomb went off. He said it must have been on a timer.
What time was indicated on the pocket watch?
The time? It was 11:58, I believe.
There we have it. The bomb was most likely set to explode when it read 12.
How do you suppose that?
I believe it was designed so the electricity would pass through to the bomb's fuse when the clock hands overlapped.
Oh, it all goes a bit over my head, I admit.
This bomb sent to Miss Whiteley's mansion last night was, to be brief, designed to go off at a very specific time. But the work of this bomb is not the work of an amateur. Whoever they are, that they can send so complex a device with seemingly no trace shows that they are forced with whom to be reckoned.
There was nothing more I could say.
Stop! Holmes! She's frightened. Look, you frightened her.
Oh, I'm not frightened. I was lost in thought.
There's no reason to be. This isn't my first time encountering a bomb of that design.
Really?
Not familiar enough, yes, if I may. I have an idea that may pose some inconvenience to you, but it's also the most effective way to deter them.
My first morning was filled with anxiety, the next with mild discomfort, the next day slightly more discomfort. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And to all of you as well. Arrived as a trio again, have you?
That's right. They've been providing me with assistance on a little something of late.
What little something?
Nothing that concerns you. We simply take an extra measure to ensure her safety.
Well, ain't you a fine gentleman?
There can be such a thing as too gentlemanly, I might add. She must be tired after being inside that narrow carriage with us.
I'm no such thing, really. A bit apprehensive, perhaps, but only because I'm not yet accustomed. I am beginning to wonder if there is anything more to your most effective way, however. Oh, Lupine! You've dropped your pencil. Here you are.
Oops! Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
One thought at a time, Miss Whiteley. A feather-brained girl might as well not have a brain to feather.
But I thought you rather liked her unpredictable nature. You said very plainly there were moments of brilliance.
That is not to what I was referring.
Then to what were you referring?
You're brilliant in that That I have a way of noticing things even I've not noticed.
But I said you said. You're getting your points mixed up.
You and I will be having a very long and very private talk later, Watson.
Certainly. How can we talk privately if we can't leave Emily alone?
I meant after. We're acting about as feather-brained as her. Pay more attention to her surroundings.
Yeah.
Holmes and Watson were dear to me, and they were respectable young men who are well-intentioned in their actions. Really, I did know this. But I didn't want to put up with this for days, or however long they planned to do this. First period ended. I stood from my desk and went to leave the classroom. Pardon, but must you follow me so plainly?
If we're not going over this, danger is everywhere. So stop your complaining and let's guard us. Guard you.
But you more look behind me than guard.
And it would be better if you followed us.
But I stood to leave first.
It was a joke. We're off to the lab next. Shall I carry your belongings?
That's kind of you, but I can carry them.
Were you able to finish your pharmacology assignment with Ms. Whiteley? You're welcome to review my note.
I'm fine. I had plenty of time yesterday and have done a first-rate job of it on my own.
Damn it! I forgot we had one! Let me see your notes, Holmes.
No.
Please?
You can see mine if you think they'll do, Watson.
Will they ever? You saved me!
God.
It was time to lunch. With present circumstances at play, we decided we must do so together in the courtyard.
It's been quite a revelation to see how the nobility lunch.
I'll say. You've got roast beef and horseradish sandwiches. Oh, and I see pickled zucchini in them, too. Look absolutely delicious.
But yours looks delicious as well.
Yes, but it's all fried eggs and butter. Hudson does put a real effort into them, of course. So the taste is good. Up for a bargain? One of mine for one of yours.
I accept. This one's for you, then.
You sure?
They are delicious. The cut on the greens is all very even and delicate for the throat.
Without notice, Holmes had taken what was in my lunchbox and began to sample freely. Don't do as you like. I never bargained away my food with you.
I'm testing for poison. Yes, this will do.
They'll do? Don't give me that rubbish. You just wanted my food.
Was this just because I asked for one?
You appear distracted, Watson. Need to remind you once more that you're here to protect her.
You're one to talk. All you've been doing is eating.
Have I? I have replaced every action with 31 men and 9 women who passed through our state in this very courtyard under a magnifying lens.
That's very helpful, Holmes.
Yes, but now they're all staring.
School was done for the day. Excellent though my voluntary guards were, nothing of note occurred to warrant their degree of attentiveness. I'm not certain it's necessary for you to keep watch every second of the day.
Fortunately for you, I'm very certain it may seem simplistic, but you find no other method can do the trick quite as well.
Oh, I hope you aren't misunderstanding. I know you two are putting in a great effort, and I'm thankful for it. But what about practicing for the sinfonias? I don't want to be the reason you haven't done enough.
Don't worry about it. Your safety is more important.
Agreed. I'd cancel our appearance right here and now if it was between that and you.
You can't do that! I don't want to be the reason you miss it any more than I want you skipping practice.
Well, we have our instruments with us. So we haven't... I know! Why not join us whilst we practice?
I wish I thought of that sooner! It's perfect! Holmes, alarmed very suddenly, turns sharply around.
Who's there?
Did you hear something?
Someone, rather. A nasty someone.
I follow the boy detective's line of sight with slight apprehension, but it was quelled immediately upon meeting eyes with our target. Jack poked his head into the classroom.
What are you doing?
Oh, it's just Jack. I don't know what you were thinking with that nasty business, Holmes.
Forgive me, but there's a person skulking like some criminal. I shall pick up on it.
You're a rude sort. I only popped in to see what possessed you three into acting as you have these days. Don't think it's all for a lark.
No, it isn't. Actually, your timing is impeccable. You can help. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary near Miss Whiteley during our practice session? Alert us to it straight away.
Suppose I can do that. Mind if you tell me...
Holmes was satisfied. Without hearing the rest of what Jack wanted to say, he, rudely to prove Jack's own accusation, pulled up a chair and sat down. He removed his violin from its case. It was time to begin. I waited for his melody to soothe me. My, your playing is just beautiful. It's the first time I've heard it. The slither of bow on string bid my lids to flutter closed, bid me to relax, to ease me into a smile. And then to snap my eyes open as a cacophony assaulted my ears.
The hell is that racket?
It's the opposites of beautiful.
He does this when he's trying to think. Translates his mind into music.
I don't understand, I fear.
Sounds like a mess, doesn't it? Take that as his thoughts being all jumbled.
This hardly qualifies as practice, then.
It helps him sort his mind for a case. The Sinfonius? No, not really. But I swear on my life that he's a brilliant violinist. Give him a bit more time, and you'll see.
Watson sat before the piano and attempted to be the accompanist to the audible scritching. Music, music! An ill-oiled machine rusting its days away in a factory sounded cleaner.
Ugh, it leaves an impression, to put it kindly. You think you'll be able to play proper in time?
That is the question of the hour, but the answer is yes, if we solve the case he struggles with.
Exactly. But I don't see how in God's name he would be stuck on it till the concert is past. That, in turn, means your worry should be gone by the time it's our turn to play.
I feel better already. Long disillusioned, or more accurately, long used to this, Holmes' assistant was content to resume playing his part in a manner that would not overwhelm the violin. This oral menace continued for the remainder of the session. It was unbearable, completely unbearable. Did I want to hear this? No. Absolutely unbearable to express this again. for to just say it was unbearable 2 or 3 times undersold the experience. Yet, as I listened, I felt the need to amend my earlier perceptions. To be certain, nothing dangerous occurred, but to say their behavior was unwarranted wasn't right, for it may have been their over-vigilance which allowed me to end my day so peacefully. Good morning, Mr. Mackenzie.
Good morning,
Good morning,
sir.
And to you. Oh. Did the 3 of you arrive together?
We did. They've been quite sympathetic to my troubles as of late. It's been reassuring to have their help.
Ha ha. Wonderful. You're both aware of her position in full, then? Was it Miss Whiteley who told you?
It would be more accurate to say we decided to meddle in her affairs and have forced the truth out of her.
We didn't want her to stay home from school, after all. It isn't fair for a victim to be punished.
I agree. You're very fortunate to have these boys as friends, Miss Whiteley. And this brings me a thought. The festival is only a fortnight away. Has practice gone well?
Very well indeed. Thank you.
You should hear Holmes playing. This performance has a real spark to it.
Does it? I'm very much looking forward to it. You are our Academy's shining stars.
Oh, Mr. Mackenzie, you fool! You don't know of what Holmes is capable! Our schoolmates began to gather in the classroom, and so, setting my reservations aside, we returned to join them. Good morning.
Good morning, Emily, and Holmes, and Watson.
You 3 have been inseparable.
Still at it then. Just what happened?
That's to be kept between us. You needn't worry.
It isn't right to pry, Jack. Now, Emily, you can go to your seat.
Certainly. I did as was said.
Something on your mind, Holmes?
How queer. I don't know if I heard the sound of a pocket watch in the classroom before.
Holmes was struck by a sudden panic as soon as he finished.
Miss Whiteley, get away from your desk!
What? I leapt from my seat to move as though dragged forward by a similar panic.
Everyone, get down!
Watson wrapped his arms over me. We were forced to the floor. Holmes, fully alert for whatever might happen next, drew a box from inside my desk. He took to searching its contents closely before turning to the window. I could see what was in his hand. No! Another silver bomb with a pocket watch, just like the one at the mansion. Holmes dashed to the window to hurl the bomb outside. It was the same flash of white and the same explosive noise. Fragments rained to the ground, and then a strangely pulsive silence followed. Holmes!
Curse whoever did this.
It was too close. Thank God no one's been hurt.
Oh, yes. I'm so glad you both were here. To have it happen once was enough. To have it happen again, here, had me erupt into senseless shaking. Watson just held me tighter so as to remind me he was there. You weren't hurt either, were you, Holmes?
I'm fine. A bit rattled. Had I not noticed in time, it could have ended very differently. The clock's hands were pointing to 11:59.
How'd you care about those hands? Let me see yours! I allowed myself to take his hand and observe.
There's nothing there. No injuries.
No cuts or burns on his hand were to be found. I feared for the worst after my own injury, but he was well. He was well. You don't know how terrified I was that it may have detonated whilst you still had it. If you were injured before your performance, at all, God, thank you. The warmth of his hand brought forth the sort of relief that came with tears.
Shan't mince me words. I think I'm owed a fair chat on what's been going on.
Still the same. I have a general idea out of this, of course.
Talk to us, Emily. We're your friends.
Marple. That you are. You deserve to know, especially since you've been dragged into this. A quiet fell over the classroom. The other day, a bomb was delivered to my home. I've felt threatened ever since, and I don't know by who or why. I've been so frightened. Quiet was followed by the touches of murmuring, whispering, wondering, and considering. Small things by each individual standards, but a large fuss to combat when hearing it all at once. I was of the opinion that I should keep the event a secret, stay home from school. I never wanted to risk anyone's life by going on as though nothing happened. I truly, truly wanted no one to get hurt because of my choices. But then Holmes and Watson discovered on their own what was happening. They insisted they could keep watch over me so that I could attend lessons. And I was so self-serving to take them up on it. I knew full well something like this might happen, but I just wanted to face my fears. Nothing could stop me from blubbering on and on.
It's alright, Emily. You can't fault yourself when we're the ones who convince you it was the right move to make.
That's not all right when I agreed to it. You don't know how sorry I am. That I'm sorry, and how I know I can't stay here when the culprit has proved it a simple matter to endanger my schoolmates. When they're caught and arrested, I want to come back, but only if everyone here deems it safe to have me here. Forgive me for keeping this matter secret, please. Was my sincerity enough? Were words enough when the cheeks were flushed and it was me, standing tiny and as just one against many? I couldn't look at them. I couldn't bear the sight of rejection upon a raw moment of vulnerability.
Miss Whiteley, don't be silly.
Forgive you? We should have noticed something was wrong.
What? I lifted my head. Not one of my schoolmates appeared to reject me.
We're meant to be close friends. How could none of us see that you were suffering so terribly?
Except Holmes and Watson. They did their part. The rest of us didn't notice a blooming thing.
Rather a mark of shame from a room of young detectives. It's a harsh lesson, but a true one as well, that our line of work will inevitably result in the birth of grudges. Our backs will one day be against the wall by virtue of our chosen career. We mustn't allow that to stop us from seeing each case through.
Compassionate. Your concern for victims goes beyond wanting to help them. You want to carry their sadness and hatred too.
Your perspective is that you've done us a disservice because you've imagined your pain as ours. It isn't wrong to feel as such, but where you stand now is where any of us could stand later. Let us fight your battle together.
Precisely. We're here for you, Emily. We'll find this worthless bastard who's hurt you and make them see what's what.
How in God's name was I so fortunate to find friends like you? There was soon a crowd gathered round my desk. I received words of support and darling messages from my schoolmates who wanted to speak, welcome me to feel as I did without fear of disagreement. I'm grateful to have met all of you. Really, I'm so grateful I've come here. There's nowhere else I would rather be but right here.
That's the ticket. It wasn't so frightful, was it, Emily?
You made it so. Watson further reassured me with a smile and joined the others in making me feel secure. I could feel tears coming on. And before I knew it, a single one was rolling down my cheek.
Honestly, the case isn't even solved yet. And yet to meet in classrooms like this.
Holmes gave a great sigh, and then a bitter smile.
You really do never cease to amaze.
Now, everyone, take your seats. I was deeply moved by what I heard from the other side of the door. The joys of youth.
What, sir? You were listening to all of that? All of a sudden, I found myself overcome with embarrassment.
Sir, before we begin, I'd like permission to check the classroom for explosives.
Oh, please do.
Everyone in the classroom burst into laughter. It wasn't as though the conversation was all that funny, but perhaps everyone just felt like laughing right now. I wiped the tears from my eyes and joined them in laughing too. Fortunately, nothing else was found in the classroom. Still, there's every chance that the culprit might try and threaten me again, perhaps with another bomb of the same type, or perhaps by some other means. Holmes was staring into the distance, presumably focused on thinking about who could have planted the bomb.
Emily, we're going to find who's responsible, alright?
Yes. I nodded firmly in response to his reassuring words. I wonder what's wrong with Slater, though. He seems to be trying to keep his distance from me. Can't blame him for being scared, though, after what I dragged him and all the others into. I'll have to go and apologize to him personally later.
This is very concerning. I was thinking of not getting too involved for the time being, but it looks like I'm going to need to keep a closer eye on some of the students.
That this would happen not once but twice boggles the mind. They must be mad.
A positive, sir. No one's yet to be injured.
Yes, that is certainly something to consider. A trouble this has been. And I owe my getting out of it safely to my schoolmates, Holmes and Watson in particular.
That's wonderful news. Considering you're all budding detectives who've gotten this involved, though, how about your class tries to solve it as part of their studies?
Ryan! That's supposed to be our job, you know!
I was hoping you would forget that.
As if I would. Still, I am aware of another case in which the same kind of bomb has been used too.
Indeed. A criminal in a case that my father was pursuing tried to use one to escape.
What? Really? Come to think of it, you did say that this wasn't your first time dealing with a bomb like this.
Indeed. We're pursuing the case of a broker who was stealing works of art and jewelry from upper-class collectors and putting them onto the black market. Had a number of warehouses and hideouts under London that he used to store the goods. When we discovered one of them, though, he tried to blow it up, along the path leading to it. When he did, he used a bomb with a timer so that he wasn't caught in the explosion.
Wait, if he used the bomb underground, it would have ended up buried under all the rubble. How were you able to see it?
You're correct. I was able to see it because I stopped it from detonating.
Well, how? You didn't cut the wires connecting the bomb and the pocket watch, did you?
That would be far too dangerous. What it is nowhere near as risky.
Then what did you...
I'll tell you that if the opportunity presents itself. To deceive your enemies, you must first need to deceive your friends, after all.
Holmes' words were filled with confidence.
My lady, I've come to collect you.
Well, I ought to be going. My butler is here for me.
Alright. Scotland Yard will be helping to secure the Academy for the time being. Should you notice anything unusual, let us know right away. There's a high chance that this could be related in some way to the upcoming festival, or another unsolved case too.
We'll be sure to catch that dastardly fiend behind all this. We wouldn't want the music festival to be ruined for you.
Thank you very much, both of you. Still, could I ask you to keep that a secret for the time being?
What do you mean?
Could you act as though on the day of the festival I will be home at the mansion and not in attendance?
We can't. Oh, I see. You want to try and mislead the culprit.
Yes. If you're going to deploy additional officers to guard against another bomb attack, could you make it look as though you're guarding the mansion instead?
Alright. We'll do what you ask. We're short on manpower, though. So when the festival begins, we'll need to send many of our officers to the Academy. That be alright with you? We will do all that we can to ensure no one is hurt.
Thank you very much. I'm terribly sorry for asking so much of you. I lowered my head to everyone present, and then climbed into the carriage.
Have a safe trip home, Miss Whiteley.
See you at school again.
Of course. Good day to you all. I waved goodbye to them as we set off. It was clear that Holmes was trying to think of ways to keep me safe too.
I heard from your teacher that your schoolmates, and not just Holmes and Watson, were all sticking up for you today.
Yes, I was surprised too.
I must ask, though, you haven't told anyone that you are investigating what happened to your parents, have you?
Of course not. That's a family problem, and one that I need to solve myself. I'll definitely catch whoever's responsible for targeting me. They could be in some way involved with what happened to my parents, too.
Yes, that's very possible.
The carriage carried us through the streets of London as we spoke. I glanced outside of the window and could see posters for the upcoming festival on display, making the streets look that much more lively. There were only 2 weeks to go until it began. By the way, Pendleton, it's almost time for the music festival, and Holmes and Watson are going to be performing in it. Will it be alright if I go?
Honestly, how am I supposed to say no after even Scotland Yard are working to accommodate you attending? However, I will be accompanying you myself. I won't budge on that.
Thank you. I responded cheerfully to him. I had plenty to feel uneasy about. But I couldn't help but be excited for the upcoming festival. Pardon, but could I have a word with you? One day before the symphonias, I approached Slater, who was occupied with nothing in particular but whatever happened to be out the window.
Who's voicing Slater before? Was it you, Greg?
I don't think it was me. It might have been Jordan, or it might have been someone else that might no longer be with us.
Rafe, go for it.
Hello, Emily. May I help you?
I wanted to extend my apologies for the other day.
It's fine. But that won't be the last time, right? It's just a problem I'd really rather not have to deal with.
Slater looked me in the eye only briefly, before turning his back to me and going to walk away. Oh! I went to stop him from leaving, but before I could, he was already gone. He seems like he doesn't want to be in the same class as him anymore. I couldn't help but feel hurt by the fact, but I couldn't blame him for feeling that way either. Either way, I need to find who's responsible for this and stop them. I found myself resolving once more to catch the culprit before they could harm anyone else.
Once more, Watson.
All right.
Meanwhile, Holmes and Watson were practicing hard for the festival. Again and again they practiced, their performance gradually improving. Give it your best, Holmes.
Watson is fine, but I'm not so sure about Holmes.
Rather, less of a public performance and more of a bloody public nuisance.
Still, when his mind is clear of distractions, he really does play beautifully.
Have you heard him play like that, Lupine?
Yes. Just once, though. I really do love beautiful things, so I'm happy to have had the chance.
Suppose all we can do is hope it goes well enough.
The sounds from his violin had gradually come to resemble music slightly more, but only slightly. Good luck, you two. I'll do all I can to collect information in the meantime. I silently cheered the two of them on. I couldn't help but wonder whether I was doing so in part because I felt like I was being a burden on them, though. But even so, I couldn't help praying for their performance to be a success. Eventually, the day of the festival finally came. The academy was filled with visitors, both from England and from abroad. They all seemed to be thoroughly enjoying themselves, too. By the time I arrived by carriage at the academy, it was teeming full of people. Plenty of people were making their way to the auditorium, where Holmes and Watson would be performing too.
There sure are a lot of people here today. More people have come than there are seats.
You're right. I really hope your performance is a success.
Yeah, fortunately, hasn't been excuse me. Fortunately, there hasn't been a third bomb attack, at least.
We can't let our guard down. Though, security is tight. We still don't know just who the culprit is.
Police investigators thoroughly as they could in advance. But there could be a bomb anywhere.
You're right. I'll be careful. Today the police were guarding not just the area around the academy, but inside it too. Despite that, however, they had yet to find anyone or anything suspicious.
Today is a very important day for the two of you. Please, leave Lady Emily's safety to me and the police, and focus on your performance.
Today Pendleton was accompanying me. It wasn't so hard to imagine that he would be too concerned for my safety to just wait at the mansion for me to come back.
Thank you. We leave her in your care.
We're not really going to have any choice but to concentrate on performing when we're on stage. After all, we're probably worrying too much, but...
Not at all. I'm grateful that you are so concerned for her well-being. I'm looking forward to hearing you perform, too. Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck, you two.
We shall be watching from where Emily's sitting.
Hey, why does her name come up there?
Good luck, you two. We'll be able to see the stage really well from here.
Indeed, this side of the auditorium seems to have a very good view.
We're well positioned in the event that something goes wrong, too, and the police can see us well.
It was clear that Akechi and Kobayashi were both thinking seriously about the case I had been caught up in.
Is that allowed in here?
Even
I have
Holmes,
special permission.
even Holmes, while he was responding to those giving him encouraging words, seemed to be deep in thought about something from time to time. The police and my schoolmates were watching over me as a precaution, which was reassuring, but we haven't the faintest idea just who's been sending me those bombs. And with this many people here... I looked around the auditorium. Naturally, we couldn't say for sure whether anyone would try and target me today. But if someone really had planted a bomb inside the auditorium, countless people who had gathered for the festival could lose their lives.
Miss Whiteley, all of your schoolmates are keeping an eye... Oh, wow. Miss Whiteley, all of your schoolmates are keeping an eye out for you.
If the culprit shows their face, we'll be certain to catch them.
Thank you. Both of you. That looks like... Before I knew it, I was straining my eyes to get a good look at someone in the distance. He looked like someone who I had seen before in the fog on the day of the picnic in Hyde Park. From what I could remember, his name was Colonel Moran. Why? Why is he here? Pendleton told me Moran had been locked up. I froze to the spot, my breath taken away. I felt as though our eyes met. If our eyes met for even a moment, that would be the end. He couldn't be the one responsible for all of this, could he? If he had been the one who had sent that bomb to the mansion.
Miss Whiteley!
Holmes! I shouted his name in relief inside my head.
What's wrong? You're shaking. Did something happen?
Yes, that... Holmes at my side, I went to look once more in Colonel Moran's direction, but he was no longer standing there. I'm sorry, I've lost sight of him. I feel as though I saw Moran, though.
That's not impossible. He's apparently released the other day.
What? Really?
Indeed. As ludicrous as it sounds, it was apparently deemed that everything leading up to his arrest was a misunderstanding on the part of the police. So he was released.
It's really worrying. I doubt someone pulled some strings to get him released.
Regardless, if we want to get him arrested again, we'll need to catch him in an act.
No doubt he'll simply use his men to do his dirty work for him, though.
Indeed. It's not impossible that he's involved in some way in planting these bombs too. Keep an eye on Miss Whiteley for me, Watson. I'm going to have a look outside.
Hey, Holmes!
Duck, would you want to be my father?
Yes! I was hoping you would ask. Sorry.
In that specific way.
Fuck off. Well, if it isn't Colonel Moran.
Hi, it's Sherlock Holmes. I'm glad to see that you're well.
I'm sure you are. What brings you to a place like this?
Does my presence at an event as popular as this strike you as unusual?
It does. I can't imagine you coming all the way to a place like this unless you had a very specific reason for doing so.
Your hate for me is palpable. Fear not. I've simply come to enjoy the music.
Tell me the truth. You're aware of Miss Whiteley's existence, aren't you? I'm sure it isn't news to you that a bomb was sent to her home either.
I'm afraid this is my first time hearing any such thing. I'm a busy man after all. But I'm surprised to find you outside too. Do you not want to go and watch your son's performance?
I'm impressed you're aware of that.
With the music drowning all other sound, Colonel Moran sank into the crowd and disappeared.
Oh? What is it, Junior?
Nothing in particular. I do find myself thinking that you could have asked better questions, though.
No matter what I had asked him, I wouldn't have gotten anything useful from him. Him being here says a lot in itself, though. Now we just need to find out whether there really is a bomb here at the Academy. No matter how many times he was asked, he would have feigned ignorance. But the fact that he's chosen to come here means that we need to be on guard. Still, we've searched the grounds from top to bottom and haven't found any signs of a bomb being placed. That's what worries me.
Alright. I'll return to where Miss Whiteley is for now. If you find anything else, let me know immediately.
Of course, I will.
Holmes turned his back to his father and hurried back to the auditorium.
I never thought that I'd see him quite this desperate.
Sherlock Holmes watched his son till he was gone. He surveyed the area again as well. So many smiles, so much laughter! It was a blissful affair that could end in wickedness. He contemplated these things as he stepped forwards, walking stick in hand.
It's almost time for the main concert to begin.
Keep your wits about you. We've roughly 3,000 in attendance, if we count both outside the auditoriums and inside. That is 3,000 potential suspects, 3,000 potential victims. A bomb of any size and shape could be hidden, and we haven't the luxury of error. Remember that.
Yes, sir.
Five officers, Inspector Lestrade and Sergeant Ryan amongst them, stood near me. The festival's highlight, the main concert, was to start. The first performer took a bow, and the auditorium cried in fervent applause. Holmes and Watson were in the seats to my left and right.
It started without incident. It's great to say it's that way.
We're the last to perform. We can make it to the end. We come out the victor. I should like to make preparations to performances prior. We can only hope that nothing happens before then too. Even when we're away, we'll have Pendleton, the Scotland Yard officers, and your schoolmates with you. You're sure not to go off on your own, under any circumstances.
I won't. Thank you. A tense voice called out to me from nearby. Sergeant Ryan.
I'm going to do another sweep of the area around you.
All right. You've checked my seat plenty of times already, though.
We can't be too cautious.
A new courage was roused by knowing these people, these officers, these friends who hoped for my safety. Fear still lurked beneath the surface, but as it was now, I was reassured. I was loved.
It's impressive to see every single seat filled, though.
Indeed. There were even people standing and watching at the back. It's amazing.
I just hope nothing happens.
I could overhear the inspector and sergeant conversing behind me.
It looks like Colonel Moran and several of his men are among the audience. Could this be their work?
We've got our eyes on them just in case, but so far, they haven't done anything suspicious. Make sure they remain watched.
Yes, sir.
2 more to go. Best of luck to you. The performer before Holmes and Watson's recital finished with a bow and a rapturous audience. Whilst they clapped, the boys rose from their seats.
We'll be back.
I expect you to watch the whole thing.
They gave a small wave to us before leaving for the stage. My mood changed. Why, so out of the blue, did I feel lonely without them next to me?
Stay with me, my lady.
Of course. As was like with the previous performers, Holmes and Watson were greeted upon reaching the center stage with applause. Their piece was called Meditation. They intended to play it as a duet on their respective musical instruments.
Meditation is a fascinating choice.
It is from the opera Fay, and it is performed when the title character decides to abandon the fleeting love of the mortal world in favor of the immortal love of God.
Holmes, Watson. My breath had already been stolen as I watched. This was for many reasons, really. I was excited to see them play. I was nervous that Holmes would be too lost in thought to be competent. I was fearing they would be judged if he failed. All these mingling thoughts washed away to be replaced by a pure intoxication. What polish! What charisma! They won the gallery. No one could look away, and as their duet strengthened, small gasps of admiration were elicited. A tap on my shoulder.
Emily.
It was Slater who whispered into my ear. Yes?
I must apologize to you. It's urgent.
Nothing urgent comes to mind.
Well, suppose that I have...
When he was about to elaborate, the officers near to us stopped him.
Jordan?
You may speak to her after the performance.
Not less because they were on guard. Their tone was severe. Be calm, Slater. It's all right. I reassured him, and yet he could not speak. The officers were getting impatient.
If you do not leave her be, then we will escort you from the area.
No, please, he's a friend. Slater, perhaps panicked, reached for the fabric of my dress to keep us close. He lost his balance as he sprang forward. I could see the inside of his jacket. Ah!
Don't tell you again. If you do anything more to her, you'll be thrown out of the auditorium.
We only mean to protect her. We must consider anything or anyone that may approach her a threat.
The statement, as with the previous officer, was delivered in a manner that served to admonish the boy. It was a strikingly strict tone from the sergeant.
Beg pardon, but I believe it would be for the best if he stepped outside for a while.
Two of the officers then approached to escort Slater from the building.
Good lord. Was a bit worried, I must admit.
Emily, just what happened? She's gone.
Miss Whiteley's disappeared. Oh no! But when?
Where's Miss Whiteley?
Holmes' playing was reduced to a crawl as his fear muddled his concentration. The two were now out of sync.
Play like this. It's not concentrating. What happened?
She was there just seconds ago.
His bow graced his violin slower until he came to a complete stop. Watson stopped as well.
I suppose it's time for my recital. May I have your violin, Holmes?
Pendleton?
Go on. Run to Lady Whiteley's side, and I shall do my work here.
I am your debt, Pendleton. Come, Watson.
Right.
Holmes disappeared, and Watson was fast to follow. Pendleton, with relaxed shoulders and an elegance that captivated his audience, raised the violin and began to inspect it.
This is ever so slightly out of tune.
He raised his instrument. Simply passing the bow over the violin strings for a few notes was enough for all to know that it was now in the hands of an exceptionally talented performer.
I haven't played before an audience since I was a boy. This will have to be a performance for the ages. Any less will not be enough. We mustn't have their eyes wandering warily to outside current affairs.
He was satisfied with its condition, and addressed the audience in a voice that carried through the auditorium.
Ladies and gentlemen, in Sherlock Holmes's place, I, Ralph Pendleton, and the head butler to House Whiteley will perform.
The performance commenced. Previous musicians who took pride in their playing, rightly so, found themselves moved by a sound they did not know could be heard. The audience was captivated. Scotland Yard, vigilant as they were in their investigation, had to stop to listen. Indeed, for all its many talents, the Sinfonias had not yet heard one play it in this manner.
I have more coming to assist you, but until then, I leave Lady Whiteley in your hands.
Excuse me. Let us through.
Wait! We were able to leave the auditorium with Slater leading the way.
On.
We went through the courtyard before re-entering the academy. It was here that we were stopped.
You there! Don't move!
Without warning, we were surrounded by the yard's officers and allowed no means of escape.
Where are you taking her?
Please, let us go.
Slater pleaded.
I know where the bomb is.
Then why take her with you? Are you the one responsible for these bombings?
No, believe me, sir. I'm not.
He's my friend. I'll be alright. My word on the matter was enough for the officers, and they stepped aside to let us pass. Once they were out of our sights, Slater stopped running.
I can only apologize, Emily.
For what, Slater?
I am the bomb.
He was short of breath, but this couldn't have been from our run. Something else restrained him, but before I could deduce further, the boy grabbed both of my hands.
I'll let go of you. I'm afraid.
What is this? You aren't being yourself. Tell me why. You promised you would talk to me if I accompanied you. His only response was to squeeze my hands tighter. It was beginning to hurt.
I'm sorry, but...
I'd caught but a fleeting glimpse of inside his jacket before. Had I been deceived? Did I see something else? Or had I walked into a trap of horrors? Before I could receive a true answer, Holmes' approaching fearful cry brought me to my senses.
Step away from him, Miss Whiteley!
Oh, you hurt Emily.
Holmes! Watson!
You again!
Holmes didn't have the patience to wait for Slater to release his grip. He stamped over and pulled me roughly away, very suddenly, until he stood fully between us.
Just what do you think you're doing?
It was in this motion that Slater's buttons had been torn from his jacket, revealing one thing I had internally begged not to be.
I knew it.
It was there. Explosives, many of them, and a silver pocket watch to detonate them. Each device was small enough to fit along a belt fitted around his hips. The pocket watch was at the center, plainly visible, plainly ticking. How had I not noticed that sound before? Upon sight, it seemed to tick so loudly that I could not block it from my ears.
You're out of time. I'm the bomb. When the hands on the clock overlap, it's lights out.
No! I covered my mouth to resist the urge to scream. There was silence in the classroom. A deathly silence. A silence that came when one's life was at stake. And there were so many lives at stake. Knowing this, we set about trying to disarm the explosives.
There are 10 explosives fixed firmly to his waist by wires and belts. Never work cut out for us. They're small or city bombs. One alone is enough to blow up the whole of the auditorium.
Is there anything to be done?
I'm not sure, but I know what happens when we twiddle our thumbs. Are the tools that we brought up to the task, Watson?
I believe so.
Colonel Moran has his orders, and they were to sit here quietly and allow you your time. That is the only reason I'm here.
I'm sure. You expect to have some ability to detonate the explosives anytime you wish. The game's bigger than murder. The fun lies in the guilt that in the minutes we fail to stop it. It's a monstrous devil, this Colonel Moran.
Don't say another word about him.
So sharply and so bitterly he shouted that the room was taken by surprise.
He's a symbol for hope for us with nothing. Someone who had their good life handed to them by their father could never see it.
Your symbol of hope sees as a pawn to dispose upon his whim, just as you are now. Are you daft?
I am satisfied with being the bomb. All of us are happy to risk our lives for London, for the Colonel.
This is your life. You can't get it back once it's gone.
And it won't be gone. I intend to have him live.
Watson removed a screwdriver and pliers from the bag round his waist.
That pocket watch reads 4:55. Got 3 minutes until the hands overlap.
And we shall hurry. Remove his jacket, Watson.
Alright. Downstairs, Slater.
Holmes, have you disarmed a bomb before?
No, but now's the day to try. In truth, I prepare a fair amount of liquid nitrogen in a warehouse to freeze the bomb. It's time I worry to find one. You can very well toss in with them.
With rushed deliberance, did Holmes take the screwdriver and begin to work on removing the pocket watch's outer casing.
Be wary, Holmes.
I shall. And take care not to place too much force on explosives.
The screwdriver went into the first drive. He pressed, turned it slowly. It was loosened. There was no time for this pace, of which I was agonizingly conscious, but there was less time for error.
Holmes, 15 minutes.
I know. Don't rush me.
Holmes, please. I want to do something, but I would have been a fool to let my ego control me now. I watched them both in silence, knowing that my role here was to pray for their success.
I'm certain if I were to expose Colonel Moran's here and now, you wouldn't understand. But I do. I do understand. That I will die in his service. It gives my end beauty. Are you still not done? The Colonel said you might exceed, but the clock is ticking. If you don't finish, then I will die here. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with dying. No, I don't really want to die.
14, 13, 12. He mocked Holmes at first. This was no dialogue, no back and forth, but a running monologue. Let me die, he sneered with a chuckle, until time was short. 11, 10, 9. Perhaps he made sense of his reality. I don't want to die. These were not accompanied by distraught laughs, but instead, whimpering. 8, 7, 6. Beads of sweat mixed with Holmes' fringe. Some dripped down his cheeks, and a drop fell from his nose to his chest. The temperature in the classroom was not particularly hot. 5, 4. The hands would soon overlap. 3, 2. The little hand fled. The big hand gave chase.
Holmes!
Quiet! You'll break my concentration.
What does it matter? You can't disarm it in time.
You take Miss Whiteley and get out of here.
Did I mishear you? No, I'm not going anywhere.
Sorry, Emily. I can't permit that. Come on. We need to go before...
can you leave him to die?
There's no time. Go! Now!
But...
I want to die. I can still disarm the bomb in time. Just run. I'll be after you shortly.
Holmes? I didn't like the way he smiled then. I hated it. He wanted me to feel reassured, to place my faith in him, but I was haunted by the opposite. Holmes had cut and cut until he met with the heart of the timer. The pliers then paused over a green wire. I knew he was waiting for us to leave before he made the final cut. 50 seconds.
Stop what you're doing.
Mr. Holmes! Holmes' father entered the classroom.
Cutting that wire shall spell the end for us.
But the book of the study said this was the correct one.
That book is 7 years old. The bomb is a newer model, though its structure is largely similar to its predecessors.
Holmes sighed with one who had built an enormous amount of tension within himself and released the pliers' grip on the green wire. 30 seconds.
Get out of the way, Junior. I will cut it.
But father...
I have disarmed 5 bombs of this exact model, and 23 in total. I know what to do.
Alright.
Holmes acquiesced and handed the pliers to his father. With tool in hand, he did not immediately jump to cutting, but, rather strangely, turned to me.
Miss Whiteley, there are 4 wires. Green, red, black, and pink. Even though there are blue and yellow wires as well. Which of these is your favorite color?
Pardon?
Father?
We haven't time to waste. 15 seconds. Your answer.
Pink?
Excuse me? You have my thanks.
And then he turned away to snip the fatal wire. The explosives were disarmed with less than 5 seconds to go on the clock. Our work had been a success. Thank God we had Mr. Holmes there to help. Yet Slater, who was barely conscious, appeared torn. What was more important, loyalty to the Colonel or his own survival?
We had the explosive bell put in liquid nitrogen and disposed of. I must ask, why did you do this? Why place Miss Whiteley in danger?
Holmes drew steadily nearer to Slater, his fists trembling in a staccato rhythm he could not control. Holmes.
Do you understand how many people are here today? Were there no options left to you but to carry out your plans and throw your life away? I consider you a friend. You're my friend!
Holmes, I know how you feel, but it's not...
Watson placed a gentle hand on Holmes' shoulder. No sooner had he made the touch did Holmes push it off and glare.
Shut up! Let me be angry!
He used the same amount of brute force to take Slater by the collar. Holmes.
Explain. I demand an explanation that we can accept!
That's enough, Junior. The bomb has been disposed.
It isn't enough. You want me to remain calm after this? We have been minutes, no, seconds too, late. All of us could have...
I said that's enough, Sherlock.
I simply can't forgive him.
From Slater's mouth did blood begin to trickle. Slater, you're bleeding.
The deuce? This is the work of a poison capsule hidden at the back of his mouth.
Mr. Holmes supported Slater's body as he slumped to the ground, all the while beating the boy's back in hopes he would vomit the ill effects.
Bring water, quickly!
Watson grabbed a jug and was off to fill it. The beaten boy's body possessed no strength to fight. He was submitting to the poison.
I hated how weak I was. I wish to have strength. I wanted the strength that would bring others to fear me.
Slater?
This has only provided another proof. I am weak. I am still weak. Holmes, I wish I could have been more like you.
As the poison coursed through his body, Slater's body took on a possessed state of shivering, and his eyes clouded over. It was different to know if he could see or hear us.
Professor, as my final act, I will fulfill my promise to you.
Those were to be his last words. Neither the detective's course nor Scotland Yard had the heart to disturb his body right away.
What a tragic way to end this affair.
Indeed. But I would add that Sherlock Holmes's help is to be commended. The end was set to be much worse than it is now.
An officer disturbed the silence by charging into the room and shouting.
Inspector, we've located the body of Colonel Moran in the rear garden. What? There was a silver pocket watch in one of his pockets. Here it is, sir.
He presented the pocket watch to the inspector whilst it was wrapped in a white cloth.
A 24-hour pocket watch. Yes, this is the one. Where is the body at present? I don't know what to say. We took our eyes off it for a moment and it disappeared. Dead bodies don't disappear. Search the premises. Yes, sir.
The festival marked the last day of my bomb threat woes. Slater's body had been delivered to his family, after which he was reportedly given a quiet burial. None of us were told when his funeral took place.
Pleased to see the violin is back with its rightful owner.
Indeed. The sergeant could learn a thing or two about handling instruments with care.
Holmes' violin, which had at last been returned to him, was set in its proper case again. Do you play the violin often, Holmes?
Only sometimes. When I have something to think about, or when someone asks me to play. I'm only noticing now that I haven't played since the end of our last case.
We returned to the auditorium, which had gone from abundant to abandoned. How interesting it was, I thought, that a single room could feel so different depending on its audience. I'm still disappointed that I wasn't able to hear your performance.
That's right. You couldn't listen.
I was hardly able to enjoy parts of the symphonias I did hear due to my nerves. Watson presented to me a smile.
I know. Why don't we put on a small recital for you?
They were born both to perform now?
Would you do that for me?
Absolutely. Private concert. Just for you.
I don't see the harm. Very well. Will you take a seat, Miss Whiteley?
Are you certain?
Quite certain. Until your good fortunate, we have nothing to disrupt my concentration. I know precisely what needs to be done and where my priorities lie. Presume you feel the same, Watson.
You're right. Won't be a better time than today. Here and now. So, are you ready for us to begin?
Please. Holmes took his place on stage. Watson took his before the piano. In that time, what was a cacophony had now become harmony, a song that persuaded the heart. So clear and genuine was this, that, and it would be difficult to describe why, exactly. I feel this, it made me feel sad. Through this, I discovered the beauty of meditation. The centre of London, unbeknownst to anyone else in the world, had produced something sacred by this performance. I focused more intently on the music. Never, for the rest of my life, would I forget the day the world was made of just us three. New destinies have been discovered, and there are more wishing to take your hand than ever before.
I mean, Lupin and Jack.
The end.
Oh my fucking god!
It's very nice.
I saying I was the bomb was
For fuck's sake, Narfi. For fuck's sake, Narfi.
You willed it into existence.
The game got fed up with your shit talking. All right, if that's what you want.
that was so
You
dumb.
broke the game.
I broke the game.
So, that's that.
I love all these credits, like, oh, look at all these characters and look at voice them. It's all wrong.
All the voices we never heard.
Thank you, Yuji Kamiyama, sorry.
Well, it was worth it. I got to voice Sherlock Holmes.
It's just me, or is this ending kind of low
I
res?
will. It is a little low res, but I think it's fine. Honestly, I don't know if it's me just getting really wise to guessing any plot points that happen, or me just being weird that I got that fucking bomb thing.
Well, to be fair, I guessed that the first stopwatch was a bomb before it actually went off. But yeah,
It was to be expected. I could see it coming.
Oh yeah, it was something absolutely guessable, but it's just so silly.
and
Ooh!
The end?